you know, where you are not making profit. If that's the case, you are not making profit, and yet you are making sure that somebody doesn't suffer, is gaining.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been meaning to ask you to say your name in full by yourself. Yes, go ahead, please. How do you pronounce it?
I don't. My name is Nana Aduna.
Nana Aduna.
Aduna the second. Aduna means really 10. Edu.
Nah.
So the son of the 10th. You see, Edu is 10. Okay. The son of the 10th.
So
you see, and
from where you sit, what is happening?
From where I sit, I'm actually sitting on the left side of the chief. And traditionally, as Achamini, I'm supposed to be sitting here. So I'm sitting on the left side of the chief. Good day and good day to your listeners. I think that, again, being a simple farmer, you know, all this big English about all these figures, you know, it means very little to we on the ground. So let me adopt the position of a farmer. However, I took a cocoa board scholarship, or I was lucky to get a cocoa CMB scholarship when I was going to school. So then I went a bit further to try and understand some of these things so that I can come back and explain it to my people when I hear it. Okay, you know, all this nice language, I also went back into the history books to learn that in the 1920s and 1930s, we were dealing directly with those who bought our cocoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So historically, this intervention of somebody now sitting on our happiness is not something that we farmers actually took on us, because we used to trade. In fact, then what happened in the 1920s and 1930s was that there was a manipulation by the buyers at the time, Cadbury's and Roundtree in particular, which also then at the same time the French and the British were teaming up to form the FCC, Federation of Cocoa Commerce, which is actually responsible for all the shipping of cocoa contracts globally. So they lock you in. Okay, so I studied some history. Then I also realized that when my ancestors were not happy with the price, they burnt the cocoa in the 1930s as a result of the resistance that they were coming up with. So I read all that. Okay. Then what did the British colonial government do at the time? Typical, divide the rule, form a commission of inquiry. Nowell Commission came out with the findings in the 1940s. My people never signed that contract. Never. We never appended our signature to it. I'm giving you a historical account of what is happening. But they went ahead and formed the CMB, Cocoa Marketing Board, in 1947. Had nothing to do with we in our interests. It had to do with trying to find a low price for British industry, 1947. Remember also, then, the Second World War had just ended. Europe was in serious trouble. They were looking for a way of coming back. The colonies became important. They had always been important, but more so for resources. Fast forward independence, and Nkrumah smartly, okay, we've got to use this commodity to fund many things. And of course, let's even go back a bit. Look, cocoa. Achimota School, where I went to school, was funded by Cocoa Kolebu Hospital, cocoa money. The railways, right to Takoradi Harbour, cocoa money. You know, the foundation for this economy, cocoa. Okay. Nkrumah smartly, fast forward, 1950s, 60s after independence. Okay. Sometimes we talk about this politics about LNM and Matimiho and whatever is like it was a tribal. No, it was about cocoa. It was about cocoa because at the time, cocoa was such a powerful revenue, but Nkrumah also had to find a way of getting some hand in control of it. So he called and said, look, I'll give you people scholarships and whatever in exchange for you sacrificing some of the revenue. And Bafo Akutu at the time, he said, you people, you are coming to tell us that you want to take our revenue. No, you're telling. So that was the genesis of it. Of course, then there was some violence and it became political, but cocoa was behind it. Okay, Nkrumah got his way, fortunately, visionary with whatever he wanted to do, but it didn't last long. Okay, thereafter, what has happened to our industry? And you can actually even look back again further at the trajectory of even production. 1896, we started with 36 kilos. By 1911, we're doing 20,000 metric tons. Look at the increase. That's where families like mine, who came from Ekropong, and we knew, or we went in the trade, we made money. We made serious money.
All right.
Okay. Of course, there was the attempted manipulation right to the early 1940s, but we still made money. Good money. When you go to the big account town,
cocoa money.
Cocoa money. All these big compound houses in Bantama and Kufuidua and Ekropong and
famous cocoa
talk about
they are associated with those words.
One of the first who built a story building out of pure Udum wood, the first floor. We know what wealth is.
So let's fast
forward to now, where we have been made poor by now the board that was whatever, now sitting on us and now telling us what they will pay us. Look, at the end of the day, again, they talk about everything being free and surprise, whatever. The funding of including cocoa board salaries and whatever, it is the margin of whatever the difference is between what is sold at the landing terminal price and what is paid by the farm gate price. So we cocoa farmers are funding everything, including all this debt that has been accumulated. They will expect us to pay. So you see, when all this...
But the coordination that...
I'm just saying... So
coordination that the authority, the board brings to what you do.
Yeah.
You can't discount that.
No, we can't. But at least involve us. Communicate to us. You are going to forward whatever. Tell us. Explain to us. Let us understand. But you don't then come and ram the thing after all, frustrating or whatever, when we know how and what we used to do some time ago to make ourselves wealthy. But then you come and tell us we are poor. Then you keep our money for almost 4 months. Just a minute, can I finish? For almost 4 months. Then after that, you come and hammer us by taking, without any communication, consultation. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. You know, and you know,
when you are getting the increases, you don't complain.
No. But even to be fair and with respect to but the increases, after all, we deserve it. After all, at the end of the day, we are still funding the thing anyway. It's from our production. It is from the money it is from whatever we make. And two, so when the thing went to 12,000 and whatever, but they had locked us in at a certain price without even really informing or discussing. So even just the understanding of it at the baseline level, at the very least, we deserve to be informed about these things, which is why then it gets to a certain point we ask,
in our current circumstance and the reduction that has come about, is it difficult for farmers to appreciate that this is how to sustain the industry?
It is very difficult because, one, look, if the farmer is a business, we are struggling with the cost of production to maintain whatever we need to do. The issue of galamsey, for example, labor because of the cost of labor, and especially in the cocoa growing areas. It's a very significant thing. So we have to compete, for example, against the cost of how much they will pay for the people going to the Ghana. So even at the 3,600 and something, we are struggling. Now you come and ram us.
But you know the reality on the market now. Why do you limit it to you come and ram us? Like it's just Cocoa Board or the government?
No, but then if you're going to do whatever, then do the decrease across board. Why are you targeting we farmers alone? Then do the decrease across board.
It is across board.
Who is
No. When I say across board, in terms of salaries,
It is across board because Nana, you see this issue of consultation. I think there's a good reason why on the board of you have
It's a farmers. Two farmers.
can I respond to that one?
No.
Let him make the point first, then we get your reaction. Yes,
Okay.
go
And we
Wait,
I'll come to
you have
and I'll respond to that.
You have two farmers.
Yes.
What I realized, and on all the management boards of the subsidiaries and divisions of Cocoa Board, you have farmers represented.
Yeah.
What I realized on assumption of office was that we have a lot of cocoa farmer groups, a lot. And so that then becomes a bit of a problem. You know, I never knew that my friend was a cocoa farmer until I got to Cocoa Board. And then he sends me his articles and stuff and the movie and all that. I didn't know. In fact, I didn't know that his name had changed from what I knew. So he's one of the foremost psychologists in Ghana. You know, so I didn't know that all those things are changed. But there are a lot of farmer groups. But over the years, there's a particular group that Cocoa Board has dealt with over the years. That's Cocoshi, the Cocoa, Coffee and Share Not Farmers Association. But then I realized that now there are a lot of them. So I have even met about 6 of them in dealing with these issues. I've met about 6 different farmer groups. And so I decide to meet them as and when. Now, the issue that you just raised, you see, sometimes the impression is also created as if Cocoa Board plays no role.
No, on the contrary.
No,
on the contrary.
Not just a minute. You know, somebody watching might think that, the farmer does everything.
Yeah.
And then Cocoa Board just goes to sell the thing, takes the money, and gives the farmer. Now, if you start from CRIG, the Cocoa Research Institute, which was set up as a result of this same CSSVD somewhere in 1936, it is CRIG that does all the research, that has been developing all these varieties to be able to withstand the CSSVD and all of that. They do the testing of all the agrochemicals and fertilizer. They go around the country to test the effect of all this all throughout the year. Then you also have the seed production division.
Sorry, you forgot to add that Craig also developed.
Yes.
You forgot to.
So you have a product development
unit
where people can now you have a seed production division. For all cocoa farmers in Ghana, the seedlings that they plant is provided by Cocoa Board. So Cocoa Board will nest maybe 6 million, 7 million of these seedlings, and it's on the basis of the research by Craig. And this is given to farmers free of charge.
You see, this is where I object to this notion of free, because eventually we pay for it anyway.
No. Okay. When I say free, when I say free, it's within a context.
Yeah, but let me
explain that.
Okay,
I'm just saying
that
a farmer is not charged before they are given the seedlings. This is given to them. You have extension services that are provided to farmers in all the 74 districts of Ghana. So the Cocoa Health and Extension Division, they do this. A farmer is not charged for the provision of that service. But this is also done. You have a situation of the fertilizer and agrochemicals that is given to farmers. Then you have the issue of the grading and sealing, which is quality. Because for where you sell the cocoa to, they have standards. If you even take the case of Japan, they go the extra mile of testing for heavy metals. So you need to provide all of this before the cocoa is certified and taken. And all this is expense that is made. You look at the warehousing, the shipping, the marketing, and the sale of this cocoa. Haulage. All of that are done. The haulage of the agrochemicals, the haulage of the cocoa itself, all of this is cost. So it is all of this that is situated in that 30%.
All right.
So it's not as if the 30% is just for cocoa board's salaries.
That's what I would totally agree with you.
Yes.
The point I make is that stop saying these things are free.
All right.
Stop it.
No, I've said
that we should.
No, Nana,
because
I've said that. You see, because when you also were speaking, you also did not allude.
Okay.
To all of these things being a cost.
Yes.
Because if you do that, people will then
Actually
understand why.
mention the coordination that is benefit from that. And when I mention coordination, I meant all the things that come together to make the product ready for the market.
Can I? You
it's
people.
a universal practice.
No. Can I finish?
You are not going to, when you go to Ivory Coast, they are now leading producers of cocoa. You don't see a situation where the world market price is paid wholesale.
No. Can I?
Farmer.
Listen.
If you go anywhere, Ecuador, you don't see it. Immediately the
Thank
state.
you.
Can I say something here?
So Nana, presently, under this circumstance, you are not getting real, are you, when you protest the reduction? That's what.
No, I'm not. We are getting very real. 1, 2. In terms of, and then Dr. Randiabe mentioned very crucial aspects of cocoa board, in terms of Craig, in terms of quality control, and I must add in terms of cocoa marketing company, CMC, in terms of the management and trade and you know, for me, chaired SPD, I'll tell you very honestly, and again, cocoa board needs to be restructured if we're going to go forward. Look, the average age of the cocoa farmer is 64 years.
Yes.
The average age, and that is a real problem. And we can talk about that in the reforms going forward. Look, at the end of it, those shared and those SPD
All right.
and those.
So I